Have you ever said exactly what you meant, only to be met with confusion or even offense? That feeling of being misunderstood is one of the most frustrating parts of human interaction. It can strain relationships, derail projects, and leave you wondering, what did I do wrong? The real reason? Most of us give our conclusion before we share our context. We think we're being clear, but the other person only hears the end result, not the story behind it. Without context, our brains fill in the blanks, often with the worst assumptions. Suddenly, a simple statement sounds like rejection or criticism, and misunderstandings spiral. The fix is simple but powerful. Context first, conclusion last. Share the story, the reasons, the feelings, then your decision. When you do, you invite understanding and connection, not confusion. Here's why context first matters so much. Neuroscience shows that when we delay giving context, trust drops fast. Our brains are wired to fill in gaps, and without the why, we often assume the worst. That's because the limbic system, the part of the brain scanning for safety, reacts instantly, long before logic kicks in. A tone, a posture, or an unexplained statement can quickly be read as friend or foe. Sharing context up front prevents those snap judgments and keeps communication clear and trustworthy. There's another fascinating layer to this, the illusion of transparency. This is the tendency to believe our inner feelings, like anxiety, excitement, or stress, are much more obvious to others than they really are. In reality, people notice far less than we think. So while we assume everyone can see how nervous or upset we are, most of the time they have no idea. When they then respond in a way that doesn't match how we feel inside, it can leave us feeling blindsided. The truth is, we often expect others to just get us, but we haven't actually shared the context they'd need to understand. Here's the simple fix: context first, conclusion last. This one shift can transform your conversations at home and at work. Instead of just saying, "I don't want to go to your party, try this. I've barely slept all week, so I need to rest tonight. Thanks for understanding." See the difference? You've shared your reason, not just your decision. Instead of saying, "I disagree with this project," which can come across as blunt and confrontational, try this. I've been listening to some of the feedback from our last rollout, and a lot of the team felt pretty overwhelmed by the pace of changes. My concern is that if we move forward too quickly on this project, we might repeat that same problem. That's why I'm not fully comfortable with the current direction. When you give context first, you invite understanding and trust, whether it's with friends or colleagues. That's the power of this simple flip. What if you're on the spot? What if you don't have time for a full detailed explanation, but you still need to avoid the assumption spiral? That's where this brilliant shortcut comes in, the 3-sentence formula. It's quick, it's effective, and it gives just enough context to be understood. Sentence 1, set the scene. Start by briefly describing your current situation or state. I've been in back-to-back meetings since 7 a.m. this morning. Sentence 2, state the impact. Explain how that scene is affecting you. So, honestly, my brain is pretty fried and I'm struggling to focus. Sentence 3, deliver the decision. Now and only now, state your conclusion or request. I need to postpone our meeting for an hour or so, just so I can actually show up sharp and give you my best attention. That's it. No apology needed, no excessive over-explaining that can sometimes sound defensive. Just enough context for any fair-minded person to completely get it. They understand you're not blowing them off. You're prioritizing the quality of your interaction with them. It shows respect for their time and your own capacity. Now, here's a crucial point. If someone still chooses to misunderstand you after you've followed this 3-sentence rule, or after you've diligently provided clear context, then that's no longer a communication problem on your end. It's fundamentally shifted into a boundary situation. It means they might be choosing to interpret your actions negatively, regardless of your clarity, and that's something you need to address differently, not by trying to explain yourself more. It's about recognizing when you've done your part and when the issue lies elsewhere. The beauty of this context-first principle is that it works both ways. It's not just about how you communicate, it's also about how you listen and interpret. If you notice yourself reacting internally, maybe you're thinking, "Ugh, why is she being so distant today?" Or, "He's being totally unhelpful." That's your cue. Pause for a moment and actively ask for context before your brain has a chance to set that negative story in stone. Instead of letting your assumptions run wild, try asking an open-ended, curious question like, "Hey, I've noticed you've been a bit quieter than usual today. Are you okay? Is there anything going on?" Or, if someone gives you a blunt no without explanation, you could gently inquire, "I hear you on the no. Could you tell me a little more about what's behind that? I want to make sure I understand." Often, people will happily give you those missing dots, and you'll quickly realize their behavior was never about you in the first place. They might be dealing with a sick parent, a stressful deadline, or a personal struggle you knew nothing about. That tiny bit of curiosity, that moment of asking for context rather than assuming, can save relationships, prevent workplace conflicts, and honestly, save you a massive amount of mental energy that would otherwise be spent stewing over imagined slights. It's an act of empathy and responsiveness, two crucial factors in fostering understanding. Why this matters. The broader impact of being understood. Let's zoom out for a moment. Feeling understood isn't just about avoiding awkward moments. It's a fundamental human need that impacts our well-being across every facet of our lives. It's what helps us connect, build trust, and thrive. When we consistently feel misunderstood, it erodes our sense of belonging and can lead to isolation, stress, and even physical symptoms. Conversely, feeling genuinely understood is a powerful antidote to these issues. Think about the workplace. When employees feel that their ideas, their contributions, and even their challenges are understood and valued, it doesn't just feel good, it translates directly into increased job satisfaction, better collaboration, and enhanced productivity. Imagine a team where everyone is adept at providing context and actively seeking it from others. Misunderstandings plummet, efficiency soars, and innovation flourishes because people feel safe to share their perspectives without fear of being misjudged. In our friendships, mutual understanding is the bedrock. It provides emotional support, strengthens bonds, and creates a safe space for vulnerability. When friends understand each other's context, they can offer true empathy and support, rather than just superficial sympathy. It's the difference between a friend saying, "Oh, that sucks," and a friend saying, "Given everything you've been through, I completely get why you're feeling this way." One acknowledges, the other truly connects. Even at a societal level, the ability to foster understanding is paramount. When individuals feel that their needs and perspectives are genuinely understood by their communities and broader society, it cultivates a sense of belonging and social integration. This leads to greater social cohesion, more effective problem-solving, and a more compassionate world. The lack of understanding, on the other hand, fuels division and conflict. This isn't just about being nice, it's about being effective, resilient, and deeply human. By mastering the art of context first, conclusion last, you're not just improving your communication, you're actively contributing to your own well-being and the strength of every relationship you hold. The practice of context, developing your skill. So how do you make context first, conclusion last a natural part of your communication toolkit? It's a skill, and like any skill, it takes practice. Become self-aware. The first step is noticing when you're about to drop a conclusion without context. Before you speak, pause for a split second. Ask yourself, does the person I'm talking to have all the information they need to understand why I'm saying this? If the answer is probably not, then you know you need to add context. Anticipate misunderstanding. Put yourself in the other person's shoes. What assumptions might they jump to if they only hear your conclusion? Imagining their potential misinterpretations can help you craft the necessary context. Start small. Don't try to overhaul every conversation overnight. Pick one or two specific scenarios where you frequently feel misunderstood, maybe with a partner, a colleague, or a family member, and consciously practice the flip. Use because and so. These are powerful little words that naturally force you to provide context, I can't make it to the meeting because I have a prior commitment. My brain is fried, so I need to reschedule. They help structure your thoughts. Reframe your intent. Remember, you're not over-explaining. You're providing vital information. You're giving a gift of clarity, preventing them from having to guess or assume. This reframing can make it feel less like a chore and more like an act of care. Wrapping it up. The journey to feeling truly understood and to understanding others begins with a simple yet profound shift in how we communicate. It's about recognizing that our brains are wired to connect dots, and it's our responsibility to provide those dots before presenting the finished picture. When we offer context first, we invite empathy, build trust, and prevent the dreaded assumption spiral from ever taking hold. So the next time you feel that familiar pang of misunderstanding, or you're about to deliver a conclusion, take a breath. Give them the context. Lay out the reasons, the feelings, the data, the story that led you to where you are. Because when you do, you're not just speaking words, you're building bridges, fostering connection, and creating a world where we all feel a little less alone and a lot more understood. If you found this video helpful, give it a like to help others discover these insights. Share it with someone who could use a reminder about healthy relationships. And if you're passionate about self-empowerment and personal growth, subscribe for more content like this. Check out the video on screen now, or explore the channel for even more tips and guidance. Thank you for watching.